Hello everyone. Have you ever wondered why you might look a little like your mom but also carry traits from your dad? This puzzle fascinated scientists for centuries. And then came a quiet Austrian monk named Gregor Mendel who cracked the secret using something as simple as garden peas. Isn't it amazing that the story of heredity began in a small monastery garden? Today, we call him the father of genetics. His careful experiments revealed the basic rules of inheritance, rules that still guide us in biology today. Now, why peas, you might ask? Well, peas are not only delicious but also scientifically convenient. They came in many varieties, tall or dwarf, round or wrinkled, yellow or green. Each trait had clear opposites. And because peas usually self-pollinate, Mendel could maintain pure varieties. Yet, he could also cross-pollinate them by hand. Imagine him carefully removing the male parts of a flower and dusting pollen from another plant, like a genetic artist designing future generations. That's why peas became his perfect experimental model. Let's step into his first experiment. Mendel crossed plants with terminal flowers and those with axillary flowers. The results? Every single plant in the first generation, what we call the F generation, had axillary flowers. That showed axillary was the dominant trait. But wait, the terminal trait wasn't gone. In the second generation, or F, it reappeared in a 3:1 ratio. Isn't it fascinating that hidden traits can resurface like that? Mendel was the first to notice this predictable pattern. Another famous example, tall versus dwarf plants. When Mendel crossed pure tall plants with pure dwarf ones, the first generation were all tall. Again, tallness proved dominant. But in the second generation, the dwarfs reappeared. 3 tall for every 1 dwarf, the same magical 3:1 ratio. Even more interesting, when he studied the genetic makeup, or genotype, the ratio was 1, 2, 1, 1 pure tall, 2 hybrid tall, and 1 dwarf. This was the first clue that inheritance works both at a visible level, the phenotype, and at a hidden genetic level, the genotype. Next, Mendel looked at seed shape. Round seeds versus wrinkled seeds. F generation, all round. But in the F generation, wrinkled seeds popped back at a ratio of 3 round to 1 wrinkled. The conclusion? Round is dominant, wrinkled is recessive. This experiment reinforced what Mendel had already observed: traits don't just blend away, instead, they segregate and reappear in definite ratios. Isn't that neat? Now for the grand experiment, the dihybrid cross. Mendel crossed plants with round yellow seeds and wrinkled green seeds. In the F, all the seeds were round yellow, dominance again. But the F generation was a jackpot of variety. He saw a 9, 3, 3, 1 ratio, 9 round yellow, 3 round green, 3 wrinkled yellow, and 1 wrinkled green. This wasn't just segregation, it was independent assortment. Traits like seed shape and seed color were inherited separately, mixing in exciting new combinations. Mendel had uncovered the hidden logic of heredity. So, what do we take away from Mendel's garden? First, traits are controlled by pairs of factors, what we now call genes. Second, during gamete formation, these factors separate. This is the law of segregation. Third, different traits assort independently of one another, the law of independent assortment. Together, these principles explain why siblings can look alike yet still be so different. Isn't it incredible that all of this came from one man, some patience, and a few pea plants? So you see, Mendel's experiments weren't just about peace, they were about discovering the blueprint of life. Every time you notice a family resemblance or wonder why you don't look exactly like your sibling, you're seeing Mendel's laws in action. Biology truly is the science of life, full of patterns, surprises, and deep connections. I hope today's session opened your eyes to the wonder of inheritance. Until next time, remember, every cell in your body carries the living story of your ancestors. Isn't that an incredible thought?